Hello all, Abigail here of the Keen Witch. This is a reading of what you need to know right now. Take a moment to center yourself a little bit, to kind of breathe and sit with this energy. I'm going to go through the piles here in a minute. Also, apologies if you can hear the grass being cut in the background. Anytime I start one of these readings, something like this happens. Anyways, this is about what you need to know right now. I'm definitely getting the vibe that this is like a very emotional reading, so this is, I do think there's gonna be practical advice in here, but I think this is also going to be a lot about your emotional state. So I encourage you to remain open and available to receive this in whatever way it comes to you. So starting off, we have pile number one. We have this little seed pod here. Super cute. I think it's from a maple tree, but it was on the ground. So, and I brought it and put it on my altar. So that's there. I think if we think about it as, a symbol, this pile I think is very much about new growth and like leaving something behind because these little guys have these little tails on them in order to go further. Then with pile number two, we have the silver ring with a heart on it. You'll see me wear this sometimes. This is very much about connections and commitments and heart-centered things. And just so you know, I don't look at the cards before this. So I'm revealing them with you as I do this reading. But I also believe that Spirit picks symbols for a reason. And then we have this fun little star anise for the last pile. This is abundance and for progress. This star anise also just feels really, really energetically vibrational. So if you are a more intense, aggressive person, and I'm not aggressive in a bad way, just someone who really knows what they want, I would say that pile number three is for you. Anyways, my guys, we will come back and I will see you at whatever reading you have selected. Catch you in a moment. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. You selected this little seed pod. Super cute. Also, one of the bigger ones that I found. I love bringing pieces of nature home into my house. We will set them up here and we will get into your reading. This is the tarot pile we'll be using to dive even deeper into your reading, but let's start with these babies. So I really feel like this card is kind of the center of this reading. Do not deny your importance. Choose yourself today. And we have the number 8 over here. That feels very important. And I have a sneaky feeling we're going to be getting a lot of 8s today, or at least infinity energy, because that is what the 8 represents. Then we have these two babies. Metamorphosis, embrace transformation. Things are now different. Ooh, I like that. Then the mist. Trust your inner compass and be led from within. Okay. And I have this little playing card here. It's not necessarily from a divination deck. It is just a playing card. And we have the number 2, 2 of hearts, which is giving love and connection and care. Okay. And then we have our Lenormand. So we have the lilies. Go up under here. We have the cross. And we have the scythe. Okay. So the lilies are definitely abundance. Also, this group with the lilies showing up in this group, lilies represent purity and they also represent kind of how your, gosh, what's the word I want? Reputation shows up in the world. And I also just want to double check the scythe here for a minute. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure I got that one correct. And then, so for pile number 2, so far, this is about you overcoming and choosing yourself no matter what other people say. And this process, while it is going to feel as though you're isolating yourself because you're starting to choose yourself, at the end, it is going to lead to connection, whatever kind of connection you crave, whether it be romantic, whether it be with family, whether it be with friends. All of this is leading to connection. I do sense with this group, number one, you guys have really strong morals and ethics. You like are very staunch in your beliefs. People see you as someone who believes in things. With the cross on the side, things have not been easy. You know, the cross indicates danger and the need for protection, and the side is not great situations happening. However, I do feel that these are things that have triggered this situation rather than something you have to watch out for moving forward. With the mist, it does feel as though things are not quite clear to you. And part of the reason that you are seeking out readings or these readings are finding you is because you are in a bit of a mist right now. And also, a part of that mist is metamorphosis, which is when we are in the midst of great change, often we can't see what is coming our way. And so I think the initial message is that you need to keep choosing yourself. You need to keep moving forward. You need to keep progressing. You need to keep believing in this journey that you are on because it is going to get you where you need to be. And it's also, I think, another message I just kind of got channeled in. And as I was looking at the lilies, you don't need to change who you are or change your process in order for this to happen. You can do what you've been doing, and what you've been doing has been working. It's just a journey of metamorphosis. Okay, we got our first cards. Page of Swords, Ace of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so literally when I said don't change what you're doing, Knight of Pentacles, you know, continue on this path. I do think with the Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands, I say don't change anything, it doesn't mean that you can't be curious about integrating other ways to move this process along. Integrating new ideas, new thoughts. Like you don't have to revamp yourself or revamp this process or even switch your manifestations. In fact, I would say you, with the Knight of Pentacles, you have to kind of dig even deeper into your beliefs around these things. But with the Page of Swords, maybe opening yourself up into goodness, opening yourself up to the ways that this can happen, which has been a message I'm actually getting a lot, not just in these readings, but readings with clients and for myself. If you have a really specific end goal in mind, one of the best things you can do is release how that goal happens, because firstly, it removes variables. And secondly, when we remove the process, like a demand for a certain process, oftentimes it opens up things to even bigger and better possibilities. So there is an energy of needing to release control. And a part of you is still desperate to hang on to it because you're like, I've been through so much. I don't want to, let things just go all willy nilly. But the message here is like, you're not who you were in the past, and you can trust who you are now. We do have the Chariot. Yeah, this is very much giving like new things are very close. And while you've been in a process for a while, we're kind of getting through the initial phase of release and moving into the phase of attainment. But you're definitely in the moment of this reading kind of finding yourself right at that tipping point. So we have the Chariot. And while I haven't pulled an 8 yet, I definitely have been flashed by the 8 of Pentacles several times while shuffling this deck. I wonder if they are going to appear before us or not. 8 is the energy of kind of limitlessness. And so not limiting yourself, I think, is one of the main messages of this reading. Yes. So now we have the Chariot, 10 of Pentacles, love, and the Knight of Swords. With the Chariot, you are on this journey. You're headed towards stuff. I do think the number 7 is also important. I think 7, 8. This is a timeless reading, but I do think July and August might be really important times for you. I would also check if you are into astrology, because I'm also an astrologer. I'd also check your birth chart and see where Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and maybe even Libra fall in your chart, because there's some kind of important message around that energy that's kind of like summer energy. With the 10 of Pentacles and the Chariot together, you are moving towards more abundance. And I think, especially with the Knight of Swords, you're moving faster than you think. I do think with the Knight of Pentacles, you have, however, been working on this like choosing of self and this journey to like more independence and like transformation for a minute, which is why you're kind of at the point where you're like, is this ever going to end? And like, why do I have to always sacrifice for my ethics and morals when the world should just be a better place? Because it should. It genuinely should just be a better place. It's not. And so the message is that these things are actually coming in faster than you think. And I do love this little two over here. You know, the connections that you desire and you crave are coming in faster than you think. I do think if you're thinking of a specific person right now, I'm getting this, and you're like, oh, is this the person that I've been looking for either in friendship or in romance? I would say probably not yet. I don't know that you have met them, but you'll definitely know when you do because we have the Queen of Wands. Two of Swords, King of Pentacles. Nice. Also, I like the kind of pattern we've kind of drawn up here. It's super interesting. All of these little, if you do readings in a grid, it can be fun to read down and across. Um, but here, especially, we have this Queen of Wands. And to me, that feels like what you were heading towards, what you're moving towards when it comes to who you are and this, you know, autonomy and this like choosing of self that you're doing. We do have the Two of Swords. We are coming up on some decisions that I think are going to finalize this process. And the right answer to this decision is simply picking the path that is most aligned with what you desire and who you are and your own importance. With the King of Pentacles, especially coming down this row with the Knight of Pentacles, you have a lot more power than you think, and you are going to have a lot more power than you can imagine. And I think a lot of the stuff you've been working on is really going to start to fall into place. And as it falls into place, you are going to gain more currency and power in the circles that you move in your certain field, in whatever area you have been feeling a lack of agency. It feels like there's an opportunity for that to come back in and for you to feel more secure. I also think this is just kind of a channeled message I'm getting. I also think some people are going to try to come back into your life. Also, in Cancer season, we are coming up on another Mercury retrograde. So, this is timeless, but I would suggest checking when the next Mercury retrograde is, because I do think that's going to be very important for this pile, regardless of when you see it. And Mercury retrogrades happen fairly frequently. So, you could be in one right now. You're definitely approaching one if you're not. So look up when the next Mercury retrograde happens, because I think that is when these choices are going to happen. And it's going to be kind of like the final step. But yeah, it's definitely going to be that kind of final decision, that final point where you kind of tip over into a different reality. And, you know, I was talking with a client, I think yesterday, and um, you know, how change often happens is not necessarily that everything suddenly shifts overnight, but it's that all of the work that we do kind of counterbalances any resistance, and that tipping, you know, from, you know, the energies that you're dealing with and then the energy you've been putting in is that point at which things change. And I feel like that is a point that's coming towards you, especially within the next, well, it really, because this is general-ish reading, I would say between 7 weeks to 7 months. That's kind of the period. And also with this reading, I'm not specifically looking at timing. It's what you need to know right now. But if you're looking for timing, this is actually coming in quite soon. And the focus, I would say, since this falls in the middle and we're kind of dealing with pentacles, regardless of what else you want, focusing on your career and physical attainments is something that's going to align everything else. So if you're looking for a romantic relationship or better friendships or community, you kind of working and manifesting the kind of more money side of things, the more physical side of things is also going to make that happen faster. So you can push and try to get those things, but the thing that if you press it is actually going to like release things is the money, financial, career portion of your life. And it's funny because it is like independence, and we don't really associate work with independence. But I very much feel for this group that a lot of you are self-employed, or one of your dreams is to do something for yourself. Some people here want to like write a novel or become a nonfiction writer. I'm hearing produce plays. So this is a very creative bunch. I don't think that any of you, your best situation is working for others. I think also with this scythe, he definitely feels like maybe someone at your work who's, if you work a 9 to 5, who's a pain in the ass and you'll be real happy to leave behind. Um, but yeah, this reading, what you need to know now is that you are on the right path as long as you choose yourself, as long as you advocate for yourself, believe in yourself. And also, with this card, it says, do not deny your importance. You know, this journey is important. You are important. With Metamorphosis in the Mist, not everything is clear. You're in a massive amount of change, but believe that things are going to change. And also believe that when you find the right place, your integrity and your values are going to be valued, are going to be one of the reasons that you've gotten where you've gotten, even if it has been a reason in the past where you maybe have struggled because you've been true to yourself and other people don't like that, especially in settings where they want to oppress you and take your labor and exploit you. So, in this pile, what you need to know now, just choose yourself. When we hit this point of choice in the next Mercury retrograde, or if you're in one and you're facing it, pick yourself. Even if you're like the path to money doesn't look like picking yourself, for you, the path to money is picking yourself. Even if it seems impossible, you know, folks who tend to seek out dreamy tarot readings tend to believe in more than what is physically present. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to believe that what might seem impossible in this moment is not, because you have been choosing yourself, you have been building yourself up, and the universe is going to honor that and believe that and bring in abundance because of your honor for your own energy. So stay true to yourself, believe in yourself. I'm going to pull one more card as like a little goodbye. And when I say I'm going to pull one more card, don't hold me to it. Actually, I feel like just the top card. Aw, I will pull one more card. Oh, let me see. Is there anything on the bottom of the deck? No, it's not. That's not important. Wasn't important. If you want to know what it was the Three of Pentacles, but it's just not speaking to me. So it's not me being like, I'm never not going to tell them about the Ten of Swords. With the Ace of Cups, new beginnings are here. New relationship opportunities, new connections, new emotional states of being. Embrace them, dig into them. And also, if you notice, you have two aces here. There are so many beginnings starting for you. And with the Ace of Wands, this is about being true to your passions and desires, and that is going to open you up to connection and care and to the things that you want, as long as you are true to yourself. Anyways, my lovelies, that is my reading for group number 1. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions or if this resonated. Also, if you have any specific topics you'd like me to cover, you can always pop them in the comments and I will look into integrating those into a reading. Anyways, my dears, I wish you a blessed day wherever this finds you, whenever this finds you. Many blessings. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. You picked the pile with the silver spoon ring with the heart. This is your reading, what you need to know right now. We're going to start off with discovering what is in your oracle cards, and then we will dig deeper with this tarot deck. So let's get started. I am feeling that this is kind of the linchpin of our reading. Breathe in. Practice breath work today. Okay, so there is a calling to breathe in this reading. I feel like we might have some anxiety in this group. Anxiety usually has a pretty good reason, but we still have to regulate it. All right. Birth mysteries. What are you being called to create? Ooh. And pink dolphin, which is interesting because this lady here does look as though kind of very empress vibes, which is also giving fertility and pregnancy. So the pink dolphin, celebration, fun, unbridled joy, and open heart. Honestly, I think so far it's kind of like, what are you afraid of? And then this is just from a regular deck, but it was gifted to me by someone I'm no longer really in contact with, not for a bad reason. We just fell out of contact, but it has the zodiac around it, which I think is really fun. But you have the Queen of Spades. This is a very kind of firm, grounded energy. The Queen of Spades knows what she wants. The Queen of Spades is also a very important player in a lot of card games. And so there's an element here of your importance, which interestingly enough was kind of in group one. So we'll look at the snake. Ooh, deception. The key. And the stork. Okay. Yeah, this is actually giving me very similar vibes to pile number one in a very different way. So if you want to go look at pile number one as well, be my guest. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just want to double check a few things. Okay. Yeah. So now that I've just double checked and made sure, I always get mixed up with the stork and the scythe for some reason. Maybe it's because they both start with S. But you have experienced a lot of not great people in your life, pile number two. It feels like some people who haven't really been super thrilled about your progression and your progress with the stork. Those people are on their way out. They are. And they will be officially on their way out when you unlock your true potential, when you unlock your fear and anxiety. Because what it feels like is what you need to know is that your fear is holding you back. And practicing releasing and breathing and grounding into the truth of who you are, and also grounding into your personal creativity with birth mysteries, grounding into the way that you create, a lot of doors are going to open automatically for you. But we do have to release this anxiety and fear, not the parts that are real. Like, I don't believe in like bypassing feelings, but like the kind of bigger and scarier than life boogeymen or situations that haven't happened yet that may or may not happen, releasing those. Okay. King of Coins or King of Pentacles, depending on the deck. The Hanged Man, yes. I also love this deck. It's very sassy, very beautiful. Love including the stories of the myths. All right, so we have the King of Coins, Hangman, and the Justice card. Yeah, it's very much giving. You have everything you need, but you're stuck. You have everything you need, and I'm actually kind of feeling this as I'm like breathing in and out, feeling this restriction in the breath, and it really ties to this breathe in. Also, interestingly enough, breathe in is the 7. And then we have another 7 here. I would wonder if we get another 7. We had 8s in the last reading, or an 8, kind of running the show. So you have everything that you need, but you are stalled, which I think is what is causing this anxiety. And you're being stalled because something is being rebalanced, reorganized, resettled. And this was actually a message in the last reading. So this is a timeless reading, but we do have, as I'm doing this on the verge of Gemini season of 2026, we're moving into Cancer season where there'll be a Mercury retrograde. The time does not matter, but I would suggest looking up when the next Mercury retrograde is, because that is going to be the unlocking of things. That is when things are going to start to move. Mercury retrogrades happen fairly often, so like the furthest away it's going to be is like 2.5 months. It's not that long. So I would suggest looking up when the next Mercury retrograde is, and then, sorry, my words are all jumbly ever since Neptune entered the house my Mercury is in. And also, Mercury is trying Pluto today. So there's just a lot of information coming in all at once. But I think that's where the unlocking is going to happen, is during a Mercury retrograde. Now, if you're in it, then you are in the situation actively learning right now. If you have just left one, I think there are some messages, but I think we are waiting till the next one. So just keep that in mind. But something is being balanced and set right, and that's why you're waiting. But the waiting is causing anxiety. And we kind of have to let go a little bit of the anxiety in order to progress. Like, you should not be concerned about the future if you have concerns, but you also shouldn't obsess over it all the time. And I really genuinely think the answer is creativity. The answer is you unleashing your inner desires, passions, knowledge, and your ability to create in order to kind of manage these things. Eight of Coins, the Hierophant, one more, the Hermit. Yeah, you have been on a journey of figuring shit out. You have been learning lessons, being taught new things. That's how you've gotten to the King of Coins thing, is because you have been learning these lessons. You have been refining and honing your skills. Has it left you isolated? Yes. It's kind of going back to like people leaving your life. It's like the more you have progressed, the more you have worked on yourself, the more people are no longer in alignment. And there's an element of you needing to be okay with that and recognizing that new people are going to be coming in. I'm also drawn back to this Queen of Spades. You are the main character. And I think part of the reason you are anxious and part of the reason you are and have been delayed is because you have given other people main character status in your life and you have become a supporting role, which it's not bad to support people, but in this situation, you haven't been then supporting yourself. And so you need to let those people go. You need to release them so you take this key, pop it in the lock, turn it, and walk through the door. But right now, it really feels like you're kind of holding this key, knowing that other people are going, people are going to leave your life if you turn it. But you fulfilling your purpose and you finding your own joy is more important than someone who wants you to remain small. And being a hermit is not so bad when you can still meet friends along the way, when you won't be a hermit for forever, when you are on a journey to higher knowledge and to a greater connection to yourself. So, what you need to know today is that you already have everything you need. You just have to let go what you don't need. And you also need to refocus on you. And with the pink dolphin, I think once you can, you're going to have a fabulous time. We're going to have celebration, fun, unbridled joy, and an open heart. If you can open yourself up to the magic of this moment, to the beauty that can be found in the universe, I truly think that people who are not aligned will fall away, and you will step into a level of magic and alignment that you've never experienced before. All right, let's pull some cards. You, Knight of Wands. I was like, I knew there was going to be a Wands face card because of that Birthing Mysteries card. I was like, when are you coming? When are you showing yourself, child? And the King of Wands. Party, guys. And the Ace of Coins. Yeah, anything is possible when you choose yourself. Anything is possible when you believe in yourself. Anything, you can plant any seed when you believe in the passion that is driving you. And, this is also a call to be a bit more fierce, a bit more ferocious, to stand your ground. I do think some people are going to push back, especially with the stork and the snake here. We're going to push back from you, kind of doing this final step into your full expression of yourself. And you have to basically be like, no, I refuse to sacrifice my possibility, my new beginning, my creative talents to remain small so that you can feel big. Because you are the main character. You are the queen. You are, regardless of gender, you are the one that everyone is looking for. But you need to harness your creativity, not to technically move or change anything, but to distract you from your fears so that you can get them out of the way, so that the universe can do what it needs to do. It's not really about you changing a bunch of stuff. It is about you letting go control and allowing things to happen. And once you can allow things to happen, you get the Ace of Coins. And with this Eight of Pentacles, it does feel like we're coming from a bit of a grabby stage energetically where you didn't want to let go of things. But now with the Hierophant and the Hermit, you know better. You understand more of what the universe is trying to do and what these, what the past situations have been that you've experienced and how they've changed your life. And now is the time to take that knowledge and activate it and use it to progress. So we're going to pull one more card as kind of like a little final message. And I actually stuck to my word last time and only pulled one more card. So we'll see if I can behave this time too. Oh, yes. Judgment. Yeah. All the things you've experienced before were past life related. You have pile number two, you've come from many lifetimes that you are resolving in this lifetime, which can feel like a lot. I also sense that astrologically, some of you have a thing called a skip step, which in past life astrology is an indication that you're redoing themes from a past lifetime because you didn't learn your lessons last time. And how can I say this with confidence? Because I am also a skip steps haver to identify it. You look at the lunar nodes, which are 2 points in the sky where eclipses happen, and then you see if there's a planet squaring or basically intersecting them. And if you don't have that, I would bet you have some kind of Pluto planetary conjunction with the South Node. But you have been processing a lot of past life stuff. And I think there's a part of you that is like, is this how it's always going to be? And the answer is no. Once you process that past life stuff, obviously we will always have to be working through this energy, but you don't have to always be working through the same energy. And that's kind of what you've been doing. So breathe in. Take a breath in and release. And breathe out. It is possible for there to be change. It is possible for things to be different. Say this with me. I have everything I need for the life that I want. I simply have to release and allow the universe to do what it needs to do. How will I release? I will direct my energy into creativity, into magnetism, into magic. And even if you didn't say that with me, that is my prayer for you. But this is your reading. You need to know that it's going to be okay and that it's not always going to be like this. And once you let go and focus more on your creativity and your passion, things are going to fall into line. Anyways, my loves, that is my reading for you today. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Also, if you want a specific reading, you can always drop it in the comments and I will absolutely look at like adding it into one of my readings. Anyways, my loves, many blessings. I am excited for your progress and I'll see you later. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. Here we are. This is your reading. You chose this very powerful star anise, which I will be popping over to maybe over here. I think that looks nice. We're going to kind of unlock what you need to know now with these oracle and various other cards. And then we will use this tarot deck to kind of dig in and further explore what you need to know right now. So starting off, I want to start with this card. Let it go, 23. Let go of all that no longer serves you. It's really interesting because this has kind of sort of been the theme of the past 2 readings as well. There's this element of needing to release in order to receive and to like accept ourselves. She who flows. Yep, this is it. Ease, being open to change, go with the flow of life. And like I said, I do not look at these or stage them in any way. I just pull them and put them in a little stack. So that's kind of crazy that was what came out. Then we have the rainbow, sweet relief, new beginnings, and a new way forward. So already we have a really strong message that once you can let things go, magic is pouring into your life. Things are going to start to change, things are going to have to shift, but we do have to release. This is just a regular playing card, but it has a very fun back. It's also vintage, has the zodiac. I'm also an astrologer, so I love that. It was gifted to me by someone who I've fallen out of contact with, but they were very sweet. But we have the 7 of diamonds. It is giving needing, it's giving like perseverance. I'm sensing needing to move forward with courage. Like it's not just about letting go, it's also about being brave enough to, once you release, to move forward. Let's look at your Lenormand. We have the star, we have the chest, and we have the child. Honestly, magical stuff is about to happen. You're also about to find some lovely acceptance from a group of people. You're about to like be surrounded by people who appreciate you and love you in like a really like authentic, childish way. Not like immature, but like you don't have to like, it's like two little kids walking up to each other and being like, hey, you want to be friends? And it's like, yeah. And then you go like talk about your hobbies together and eat snacks, which I love. And then we have this little like jewelry chest here. There is some hidden gift, some hidden treasure. Also interesting. We have an 8, and then we have 9 diamonds, and then we have the 7 here. And so it's 7, 8. It feels like there's a strong progression that if you can persevere, there is a gift coming here for you. Which, interesting, interesting. And with the star, this is dreams come true, wishes granted. It's also about kind of having guidance from the universe. If you notice, there's little ships at the bottom. And if you know anything about early navigation, and even navigation now, we just use tools, like technology and tools, but it is based on the stars. So guidance being like driven by the stars, being directed by the stars, that's something coming up for you. Pardon me while I take a sip of water. I haven't really experienced horrible allergies, but definitely dryness of my throat has been something the allergies have gifted me this year. Also, I am perpetually dehydrated. All right, the moon, 2 of Pentacles, Father of Wands. Okay, okay, okay. Let's get them tucked away in here. Excuse me, Mr. Snake. Whoop, I knock everything. No, my beautiful spread. Okay, fine. You're a little too large. We'll shift you over then a bit. We will not force you. Okay, so with the moon, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Father of Wands, you are going to need to sit with what you need to let go, partially because you don't want to let it go. You do. And a part of the reason you're not letting it go is not necessarily because like you're foolish or anything. You're just really stubborn and you want to hold on to some stuff. But if you can release, all of the good things are going to happen. I do think with the moon, I really feel as though under a new moon or a full, well, specifically a full moon because of this card, under a full moon, this is going to become very clear. I would look up and see when the next full moon is for you, because this is a timeless reading. So while I could say there's a full moon in Sagittarius on the 31st of May of 2026, you may not be seeing this at this time. So go look up and see when your next full moon is. There's going to be a lot of information and messages delivered on that day, and you will have to make some choices with our 2 of Pentacles. You will have to decide what is worth it for you, whether releasing is worth it, whether you are able to let things go, allow things to shift, allow things to change, or if you want to hang on and not change it, because that is always an option. We humans do have an element of free will. All right. Oh, interesting. Mother of Wands. We actually have a pair here. Ooh, the burnout card. Oh. And the 2 of Cups. Nice. All right. So we have the Mother of Wands, 10 of Wands, Father of Wands. It feels like, and this is not gendered, it's just an energy, but it feels like you've been really leaning into like externalized energy, like pushing. And with the Mother of Wands, we got to do smarter, not harder. We got to start strategizing because the pushing is leading us to burnout. The pushing is getting us stuck in places we shouldn't be. With the 2 of Cups, this is also really affecting our relationships. Our inability to let go is hurting our ability to connect to others. And so basically the call is like, you can hold on as long as you want, but you're not going to get the things that you want, and you're also going to have a bad time. So please release, please let go. And it's not about throwing out an offensive approach in favor of a defensive approach or pulling back and not, actively pursuing something, but it is also releasing the way in which something can happen so that you can actually receive what you want. Because sometimes what we think we want really directs how we go at something, and sometimes the thing that we think we want is not really what we need. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not going to get my manifestations. I'm saying like, no, the universe has something even better for you. It's not like they're like, no, you don't need to have this nice thing that you want because we don't want you to have it. It's more of like, oh, there's actually something better and a better way that you can get it. Um, I think some of you do desire a romantic relationship or just a close friendship, and you not letting go is kind of getting in the way of that. So if you want to speed that up, release, release, release. She who flows, remember ease, being open to change and going with the flow so that you can have the new beginnings that you deserve. We have the Daughter of Cups, which would be the page in a traditional deck, Seven of Swords, and the Temperance card. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for emotional regulation, guys. Um, Emotional regulation is not having feelings or staying in one state of existence. It is about being able to flow between feelings without getting stuck, without going to extremes and staying there. So, you need to feel your feelings on this. That full moon that I spoke of that will come eventually because we have a full moon every 4 weeks. What comes up is going to show you what has been blocking you. And if you can let your emotions flow, you're going to come to those conclusions faster, which I think is the goal oftentimes. We also have the Seven of Swords next to this Daughter of Cups. And kind of like I mentioned before, there's just some people who are not in alignment with you. This was also a very strong message in pile number 2. But there's just some people who are not aligned. They're getting in the way of your success. Also, I feel like they might not be inserting themselves in your life. You might be holding on to them in your life, if that makes sense. And so you need to let them go and do what they need to do in order to be happy and healthy so that you can find the people that you belong to. And also receive this little secret gift, which I love. And you're not going to be able to do any of that if you don't release. And also with the rainbow, there's an element of like being guided, especially with the star in conjunction to that. There's a message about being guided to the truth, being guided to, your next phase in life, your next path, your next dream, your next desire. And I'm just getting a lot of held energy, which is why we have to let it go. And it also feels this 7 to me is also giving 7 of Wands vibes. It feels like you're really fighting for something, but I would like you to ask yourself, what are you fighting for? Because it feels like you might be fighting for a dream that is old or fighting for something that you no longer align with. And if you can release, the universe has like a whole new set of stuff, especially with the 7 of Swords. It just feels like you may have been clear on what you wanted in the past, but it has become obscured. And so you're kind of fighting for something that you're not really sure what it is anymore, which is not a good idea, especially if you're going to put a lot of energy into it, which with the King and the Queen of Wands is something that you are actively doing. It's not bad. It's just let's put our energy in something that we know we want. And last, but definitely not least, we do have a 3 of Cups here. Kind of going back to these relational themes we've been talking about, to this desire to connect, but maybe hang on to old stuff. Once you can release and once you can regulate, I'm not talking perfect regulation. I'm not talking being like an exceptional person. No one is that way. That's a ridiculous standard to have. But once you can do this, firstly, you're a lot more healthy emotionally. And secondly, you are going to find your people, which was very much what this child card was saying. Like, you are going to find your people. You just kind of have to let go what doesn't serve you right now. So, what do you need to know? You got to let it go. And you need to release and you need to work intelligently with your energy. For some of you, I'm really strongly hearing you need to seek out someone to do spell work for you or to at least give you guidance on the spell work you should do. I do this work. If you go to my Instagram or my threads, I follow other practitioners. If I'm following them, usually it means, or have ever commented on their stuff, usually it means that I know them and I believe in them. So you can dig around in there. I'm going to shout out someone I recently connected to and had an absolutely wonderful experience with. Her name is Esme West. Um, I think if you type in Esme West, like spiritual or spirits, I think she comes up. Her website is purple, but she did some really beautiful spell work for me. Because as a practitioner, I go to other practitioners for stuff that I can't shift. So some of you need spell work, but you can only really get good spell work done, even if the person's the best person ever, it won't work unless you know exactly what you want. And not exactly in the sense of like, oh, down to the minute detail, but you feel an alignment with your path. So that is my message for you. We have to release, we have to be open to new beginnings and to new ways of existing. And honestly, once you can do that, it really feels like things start to move pretty fast. So hold tight, take some time to realign yourself, maybe get some spiritual work done, and open yourself up to what is coming, which I think is going to be actually quite nice. And also, you're not going to know what it is until you do, especially with that little covering there. You're not going to know what the nice little gift or trinket is until you do, but I can guarantee once you release, it will come in. Anyways, my loves, I wish you a very blessed day, night, morning, evening, whenever this finds you. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Pop something in the comments. If you have a specific reading you would like, you can put that in the comments. I will try to integrate it into one of these readings. Anyways, my loves, many blessings, and I will see you all later. Bye.